Welcome to Old City Radio, live from Yerushalayim.
David HaMelech, King David says, Ivdu et Hashem b'simcha. You have to serve God with joy.
We have to be b'simcha.
Shalom, my friends, and Chodesh Tov. We've now entered Rosh Chodesh Kislev. And our sages teach us that Rosh Chodesh, apart from meaning the head of the month, the first day of the month, is related to the phrase Rosh Chadash, which means a new head, which means you can get a whole new perspective on life. You can see yourself and you can see the world in a different way. And there's different energies coming down into the world. So we've got to understand what is the energy, what's the Torah, what's the consciousness we need to be tapping into at this time. And the word Kislev actually has the same root as the word Kesel, which means trust or hope. And we know that in Kislev we're heading into the dark times. The nights are very long. And David HaMelech says, Lahagid baboker chastecha ve'emenotcha b'leilot, which means in the morning I will speak of your kindness and I'll speak of your loyalty or your faithfulness at night. What does this mean? When it's morning, which means when we can understand what's going on, when things make sense to us, when we have das, when we're consciously aware, we understand things, then we speak of God's chesed, God's kindness, because we see everything's amazing, makes sense. But b'leilot, at the night time, when everything's dark, when I don't understand, when it doesn't make sense to me, when it's very, very painful, then I need emunah. Then I need the trust that actually there is a deeper meaning behind this, the trust that this is taking me eventually to where I need to go. And we've been speaking about emunah a lot recently, but this is really that month of emunatcha beleilot. In the dark times, I'm going to say, you know what, I can't understand everything. I'm not on Hashem's level of consciousness, so I'm just going to trust, I'm going to believe, I'm going to know that it's Hashem who's running everything in my life, and therefore I can leave it up to Hashem, I can even close my eyes. And our sages teach us that the faculty, the power of the month is actually sleep. And the fact that we have to sleep means there has to be some avoda. There must be some spiritual work to sleep, because Hashem didn't need to create us needing to sleep. And anything that we have to do, we need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to go to the bathroom, we need to exercise. Everything we need to do, we can start looking at it as an avoda, which means how do I do this in the right way? How do I do it in the conscious way? How do I do this in order to reach my potential and my purpose? How do I do this in order to have a deep connected relationship with Hashem? So the avoda of sleep is actually a very important one, because basically most people do it every night. And what is the avoda of sleep? One, on a very simple basic level, it's just so that we can build up energy for the next day, because we get tired and we need to rest our body in order to have energy. And it's very important to note in this case that sleep is just a means to an end. Sleep is just to help us rest so that we can get on with what we need to do during the day of connecting to Hashem and personal growth and chesed and helping the world. So over investment in the means is actually missing the purpose. I know lots of people who, they tell me, sleeping's their favorite part of the day. I think to myself, that's a little bit sad. You can enjoy your sleep, but the favorite part of the day should be what you're doing during that day. You should be living an immensely empowered life full of vitality. Someone actually said to me, how do I sleep less? I want to sleep less. And I said, if you love life more, the more you love life, the less you want to sleep. So our sages teach us that sleep is actually 1/60th of death, because you're really cutting yourself off from this world. So on that level, as sleep is just a means to rest ourselves, and so that we can carry on our work, then it's just a means to an end. However, my Rabbi, the author of Bilvavi, says that the avoda of sleep is deeper than that. What are you actually doing when you go to sleep? You're putting yourself in Hashem's hands. That's exactly what you're doing. You're basically getting away from das, getting away from awakened consciousness, and you're saying, okay, Hashem, I'm in your hands. I'm out of das. I'm in complete emunah now. And we see this even on a physical level. If you don't feel safe, it's very difficult to fall asleep. I traveled in Asia for 6 years on my own, and there were some places when I was backpacking around, and some places in India where I was in very dangerous, scary places for a while, and I didn't sleep. I sat up somewhere in a bus stop. And so the fact that you're okay going to sleep is actually an expression of emunah. It's an expression of emunah. I feel safe. I feel held. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomei Yisrael. Hashem never sleeps. Hashem's always there, always looking over us, protecting us. But not only are we putting our body and our safety in Hashem's hands, we're putting our neshama. We say when we go to sleep, your neshama goes up and it gets a bit of a cleaning and it comes down. That's why we say in the morning, you gave me back my neshama. So sleeping is a very, very deep avoda of complete surrender. I'm surrendering my body and I'm surrendering my das, my need for control. We need to be in control the whole time. I've got to make sure I know what's going on all the time. So people who have a lot of anxiety and they don't feel in control, they actually find it very difficult to sleep. They can have insomnia because they're not in a state of security and peace of mind where they can just let themselves, they're really letting go of their conscious awareness, which is very scary for some people. But once you understand, once you understand that we have Hashem and Hashem's looking out for us and He cares about us, then you can relax, and then you can have menucha, real rest. It doesn't just mean physical rest, I'm resting my body. It means I'm resting my mind. I'm resting my need for being in control. I don't need anything, I don't want anything. I'm just basically being held in Hashem's arms. And the letter of the month is Samach, by the way. And Samach is the word Somech. Somech noflim. It means that you can trust, you can rely on me. I'm supporting you. I actually said this when I got smicha. I said, what does smicha mean? It means that a rabbi is meant to be someone that you can rely on, someone that you can trust, someone who's reliable, someone who you can go to for support. That's really what a rabbi is. So he knows a lot of information about kashrut and Shabbos and stuff like that, but that's not really the role, I believe, of a rabbi. A role of a rabbi is someone that I feel okay speaking to and I feel safe with and I can confide in. So this is our avoda of being able to go to sleep. And because that's the main avoda of our month, our sages also teach us that this is the month of dreams. It's the dream month. Why? Because obviously you dream when you go to sleep. And there are 10 dreams in the Torah. And we see that there are 10 dreams in the Torah. One of them we read in Cheshvan, and the other 9 all appear in Kislev. Of all the 10, obviously there are 10 dreams because of the 10 Sfirot, and the 10 is a very important number in Judaism. There's Avimelech's dream when he kidnapped Sarah, and then Yaakov had a dream of the ladder going up into Shemayim, and Yaakov had another dream of the sheep, how he should handle the whole of Lavan's sheep, and Lavan had a dream not to mess with Yaakov. Then we have Yosef's 2 dreams, and the butler and the baker's 2 dreams, and Pharaoh has 2 dreams as well. So those are 10 dreams. 9 of them we're going to be reading in the month of Kislev. And what does this really mean for us? What is a dream? What does a dream? So our sages teach us a dream is 1/60th of prophecy. You're going out of your das, you're going out of your conscious awareness to a deeper place within yourself. Now the truth is, our sages also teach us that there's no dream that doesn't have some nonsense in it as well. And my Rabbi says that really most of what we dream about nowadays is just whatever we're thinking about, whatever we desire, or whatever we're afraid of during the day. But really, the levels of the dreams that we were seeing in the Torah, and that some people can have, especially if the dream is repeated, is because I'm going into more of a koach hadimyon, into this imagination where I've kind of let go, and then deeper places within me can come out. And the dreamer in the Torah is Yosef. Yosef is called by his brothers, oh, here comes the dreamer. So he's the dreamer. And Yosef, what was his major quality? This is one of the reasons we call him Yosef a tzaddik, is because he had emunah. He had complete emunah. When he was in the pit, he didn't start complaining. When his brothers sent him down to Egypt, he didn't say this is not fair. When he revealed himself to his brothers, he said to them, don't worry, it wasn't even your fault. Hashem made me come down here. All beautiful ideas about Yosef. Yosef is actually gematria, Hashem imcha, Hashem is with you. So Yosef is holding on this level of emunah. I trust Hashem. Nothing makes sense, but I really trust Hashem. And even in a deeper way, our sages teach us that we are actually not fully awake right now. We're not fully awake. We're in a kind of awakened dream state. How do we know this? Because after we bench, today's Rosh Chodesh, so I benched and we sang Shir HaMalot, and Shir HaMalot says, Hayinu k'cholmim. At the end of days, when Mashiach reveals himself, and Hashem reveals himself, we're going to realize Hayinu kecholmim. We were like dreamers the whole time that we're living in this world. We were really dreaming in comparison to the high state of consciousness that we're going to have when Mashiach comes. So when you're asleep and when you're dreaming, you really believe it's true. You get into this whole reality, so much so that you can wake up, you're sweating, you're nervous, you're anxious, so you wake up and you're like, oh, thank God, that was only a dream. Or you wake up and you're like, oh, I want to go back to sleep, whatever it is. So once we wake up, we realize that what we were experiencing as the reality and we were getting so emotional about and so upset about, it wasn't really the reality, because now I'm awake. So I just say that we are awake, but we're still not experiencing the highest level of reality. We're still not experiencing the proper, true reality. And what is the highest level of reality? The highest level of reality is that everything's good. Everything's God. Everything's good and everything's God. Everything's for our best. We're not experiencing that, especially with these terrible, tragic things that are going on. But one day our sages teach us that Mashiach's going to come, hopefully very soon, and then we're going to wake up and we're going to realize, oh my goodness, this was all just a nightmare. It's all a complete nightmare. And we're going to say, oh, thank God, that was just a nightmare. And we're going to understand it on a higher level and say, this was just taking us towards the final redemption. And all of those people who suffered all throughout the generations of Jews, they're all going to be alive again. We believe in the resurrection of the dead, and they're all going to be in some heavenly consciousness. And we're all just going to sit around and say, that was unbelievable. Just like Yosef's brothers, by the way, when Yosef revealed himself, Yosef says to his brothers, Ani Yosef, I'm Yosef, and they just couldn't believe it. They were stunned. They couldn't say anything. What did it mean once Yosef revealed himself? They thought that they were in very, very big trouble. Yes, Shimon was in prison and Binyamin had to come down to Egypt, and they thought we are in big trouble. Once Yosef revealed that it was actually him, he was Yosef, they realized, not only were they shocked that it was Yosef, but they realized, hold on, so we were never actually in trouble in the first place, because it was Yosef who loves us. So all the time that we thought we were in big trouble and big pain, Yosef was actually just guiding the way. He was just helping us. And unfortunately, we needed to go through that traumatic experience and go through that pain in order to get to that place of Ani Yosef. When Hashem's going to look and he say, Ani Hashem. Mashiach's going to come and say, it's all Hashem, it's all good. It's all good. Now, obviously, it doesn't feel good. It feels very bad. It feels very painful. But just because we have emunah and we know it's all good doesn't mean it's not painful. And in fact, part of the bringing of Mashiach and part of the lifting of our consciousness is to feel that pain and then use that pain to become more connected to Hashem. I've heard so many stories about people who started keeping Shabbos and that saved their lives, and the soldiers are now putting on tzitzit, and we're using our pain to become more and more and more connected. And that way we'll all, as a whole nation, we're going to wake up. We're going to be awakened. That's what Mashiach consciousness is. It's just being more conscious, more awake, more connected to Hashem. And that's going to fix the whole of history, the whole of the universe. We know in the Torah it says a few times that someone fell asleep and then they woke up. Yosef fell asleep, he woke up. Yaakov fell asleep, he had the dream, and then he woke up again. Pharaoh fell asleep, he had dreams, and he woke up again. But at the very, very beginning of the Torah, it says that Adam fell asleep. Adam was put into very, very deep sleep, but he never woke up. The Torah never says he woke up. So that means that really the whole unfolding of human history is just within Adam's dream. And the Jewish people, even on a deeper level, we see also Avram at the Bris Ben and Basarim, the covenant of the parts. He also fell asleep. The Torah says he fell asleep. It doesn't say he woke up. So the Jewish people are in a dream within a dream. What does this really mean? It means it's all covered up. The truth is covered up. That's why, by the way, Kislev, the beginning is Chaf and Samach spells Kiseh, which means covered. It's hidden. There's a covering over, Kislev. And Lev is Lamed Vav, many different meanings of what Lamed Vav is. Firstly, we light 36 candles on Hanukkah. We're having Kislev, we're having Hanukkah in Kislev, lighting our 36 candles. And we know that the light that was originally created at the beginning of creation was hidden away. It was called the Ora Ganuz, but it did shine in the world for 36 hours. So the 36 days of the 36 lights, candles that we're going to light on Hanukkah represent those 36 hours when this immense spiritual light was shining in the world. Kislev means that those lev is lamed vav. Obviously, we got the lamed vav tzaddikim as well, who are also hidden. But that light that's actually covered up is going to be revealed. And then at the end of days, Hashem's just going to shine this spiritual godly light on of all of creation. And that's going to wake us up to the reality that it's actually all okay. It was all meant to be like this all the way along. And we're going to wake up from this horrible, horrible nightmare. And we're going to say, Baruch Hashem, it was just a nightmare, but we're all okay now. And we're all living in a peaceful society just for love and chesed and kindness and unity. And this is what's so special about the Jewish people, because we're not waiting for Mashiach to do that. We're already living in a better society where the Jewish people are more unified and where there's more chesed and there's more connection to Hashem. So we just got to keep going and building. This is our avoda in Kislev, is to give ourselves up to Hashem, to surrender what we think is the reality and try and get onto this higher level. Bezrat Hashem, and what you guys can do who are watching is donate at the link below, because it's getting to be winter now and it's starting to rain now, and there's hundreds of thousands of reservists and there's not enough stuff for them. They need coats and rainproof jackets and trousers, pants for you guys. And so let's all start working together to bring God's light into the world, even though it seems very covered up at the moment. Hashem's going to reveal it, but let's not wait for Hashem to reveal the light and the consciousness of Mashiach. Let's start revealing it ourselves and living on that level. Bezrat Hashem, have a good Chodesh.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Old City Radio. Hope to see you again very soon.
Remember, this isn't just information, it's tools and practical wisdom to completely transform your life.
Faces International, thank you very much.